All right, so today we are going to be learning some new coloring techniques. So the correct answer was the left side is the side that deserves the A, and the right side is the side that we see some unsavory coloring techniques that we want to make sure we stay away from. Biggest thing that we want to watch for is this concept of balding, which is where you're not getting a consistent color throughout the entire object. And to avoid that, we want to make sure that we are coloring in a single direction at a time, and we're going to learn some of these new techniques. First one we're going to start with is our exterior emphasis. Now, I would be checking markers on my sketch to make sure that it is perfect before I add it to my portfolio. Additionally, if I do a marker line right over the top of this line, you're going to be able to see the pencil through it. So I want to go in and lighten up my lines, make sure I brush my surface nice and clean before I start adding color on top of it. Otherwise, the pencil lines will be trapped forever. All right, so now I've got that. I'm going in with my hard lines. And now I'm going to start adding that exterior emphasis color. To do that, I want to add a lot of pressure on the outside edge. And then as I move to the inside, I'm lightening up the pressure to also lighten up the value of the red. Nice, easy, gradual blend, just like we practiced when we did the value portion of our packet on the elements of art. So I'm lightening up, lightening up. So right here in the middle is going to be where it's the lightest. And I'm just going to keep adding dark to the outer edge. So that's exterior emphasis. Now you will be required to include at least one of these coloring techniques into your final. So make sure that you're thinking about which ones are going to work the best for you. Next up, we're going to try texture. Texture is when we add texture to the interior, color over the top of it so that it is still present. So for this one, get my color scheme going. Checking my marker. And I could add the texture with either marker or colored pencil. I think it looks a little nicer with colored pencil, so that's what I'm going to stick with. And I could do something like scales like we see in the example on the weight of coloring handout. And I'm pushing down hard to make sure this is a really nice dark line. Once I get that fully filled in, I will come back over the top and add a light single direction stroke to really allow that to pop. Now, if I wanted to take it one step further, I could come in and add a little bit more of a value blend instead of having just the harsh outlines and then switching. So this is going to be texture. Next up, we have color blending, which is definitely a popular one. It's also one of the most difficult, but I know you guys can do it. Color blend is going to be where, let's see here, we'll go pink to red. With this one, outlining a marker might not be your best option. You might want to leave it just totally open. And I'm going to blend here towards the middle so I don't take up a ton of time. So when you're going to blend, you want to make sure you're keeping it multi-directional. And where it's up towards just the pink top, that's where I'm going to push down harder with my pink. And then here towards the middle, I'm going to lighten it up. But again, I want it to be that gradual blend from light to dark. Now, I'm going to overlap the colors. And again, I'm very lightly at this point, before I blend into more of a harsh red. And I'm switching back and forth between colors, applying more pressure gradually. Until I get fully colored in. So this section is where we see the colors overlapping and where we see that color change happening. Obviously, you would fill in the whole letter. So that one is our color blend. Last one that we're going to look at is shading, which is just going to be a value blend from light to dark. So again, I'm lightening up the letters first. checking my marker. And for this one, I'm gonna start out dark at the top. And then as I continue my way down, lightening up the pressure until it gets down to almost just pure paper color. So that is our value in shading. A couple other pro tips. We should not be coloring in with markers ever. As you can see, it's really hard to get a perfect line unless you are going back and forth in this type of manner. Even then, super hard. We should not be coloring in the backgrounds, so make sure that you are going into this coloring with a plan. Everything gets marked in pencil first, lighten it up with your eraser, and then go to town. Make sure you include at least one of these 4 coloring techniques.